Hey guys, it's Cassera, and today I'm bringing you my August week 5 reading vlog. It's Saturday, August 24th, and I just decided to start this reading vlog a little bit early because the last reading vlog I ended a little bit early, and I want to end this one a couple of days before I have to put out my August reading wrap up. So I'm trying to do this one a little bit early. I have a lot of goals for this week. We'll see if I can get it done. First of all, the books that I'm currently reading. The first book is Gardens of the Moon by Erikson. I actually made a lot of progress on this one today because I finally got to the audiobook of this one. I had been reading it physically for the longest while, and I've switched to the audiobook just because I haven't had time to pick up physical books that much. So when I don't have enough time, I don't end up getting to my slower books. I'll get to the ones that I read a little bit quicker first. So I got the audiobook for this one so that I could read this one a little quicker because I really did want to continue on with this one because it was in a really good place that I wanted to continue on with. So I'm now on chapter 10, really enjoying this one so far. I really like the world here. This one is one of those books that it just kind of throws you into this world and you have to figure out what's going on, and it doesn't have a whole lot of explanation. I started this one 5 years ago and immediately DNF'd it because I was so overwhelmed by all of this stuff that I was getting. But this time around, I started this I want to say at the beginning of the month or even at the end of last month. I've really enjoyed it so far. I really like just being immersed in this world. My reading tastes have definitely changed, or just maybe my reading skill has changed. But I really enjoy it so far, and hopefully I can finish it this week because I definitely want to, and I definitely want to continue on with this series because so far I really like this world and I like to explore it more. So yeah. Also, I really love Erikson's writing style. It's a little reminiscent to me of The Night Circus, which is my favorite of all the books I've read. The Night Circus has the best imagery that I love to read, especially listen to his audiobook. Gardens of the Moon is not quite there, but is really close, and I enjoy that about it. But I have a feeling that this is gonna have a little bit more of a plot to it, and I'm excited about that. The other one I'm reading is on my Kindle, and that's The Ember Blade by Chris Whitting. I'm not very far into this one. I'm on chapter 10. I'm on chapter 10 also, but chapter 10 in this one is only 8%, while chapter 10 in the other one is 35% or something like that. It's half of the book anyway. So far, I'm really enjoying this one. This is another one where I'm really enjoying the writing style. I don't know too much about the world yet, but it seems to have very robust world building, but it hasn't given too much of that away yet. So I'm excited to see where that is because I'm only chapter 10 is page 60 maybe, and there are 800 something pages in this book. So there's a lot. So this is my ebook for the week, and I'm excited for it. We'll see how it goes. This is one of the first recommendations I got specifically from subscribers, so I'm excited to see how this goes. So those are the two books that I'm currently reading. I'm very close to finishing my book buying ban, so I want to see if I can do it in August. So in order to finish my book buying ban, I have to read 3 books. There are 3 books left, then it'll be over and I can buy books again, and I'm so excited for it. I definitely wanted to finish it before November, but if I can do it 2 months early in August, that would be amazing. So these are the 3 books that I'm gonna have to read if I want to finish my book buying ban. The first one that I'll most likely start sometime today is The Wicked Deep by Shea Ernshaw. So this is a YA fantasy, and it has spooky vibes to it that I'm excited for. It's about 3 sisters that were drowned, I believe, in the 1800s, and now they might be haunting people again or something like that. I'm excited for it. I think this would potentially be really good. I think I'm gonna like the writing in this one, so I'm pretty excited for that. And this is probably the first one I'll start. The next one is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. This is actually a classic nonfiction, if there's such a thing as that. I've been wanting to read this book for a really long time, which is why I bought it, and I just never got around to it. I have tried the audiobook in the past, and I did not like the audiobook, which is why I still have to read it physically. I might try and pick up the audiobook again to see if I like it more now, because I listen to a lot more audiobooks now than I did back then. So we shall see, but I'm pretty excited for this one. I'll probably start this one when I finish Gardens of the Moon or the Ember Blade. Whichever one of those I finish first, I'll probably start this one. I'm a lot farther into Gardens of the Moon, so probably when I finish Gardens of the Moon, hopefully like before Wednesday or so. And the last one is The Tiger's Daughter by K. Arsenal Rivera. I'm leaving this one towards the end of the week. It's the biggest one of them, but it's also the one that is like way more up my alley than the other two because this is adult fantasy. Again, I love adult fantasy. It's Asian inspired, which makes me excited for it. And towards the end of the week, I generally have a lot more time, so I think I'll have time to finish this towards the end of the week, so we shall see. Hopefully I will. I haven't actually tried to pick this one up, unlike the other two, which I have tried to pick up in the past. So I'm excited for this one. I don't know anything about it other than it's an Asian-inspired fantasy where apparently even gods can be slain. So those are all the books that I plan on reading this week. As you guys know, I'm horrible at keeping TBRs, so there's a good chance there are going to be some other books that just get thrown in there randomly. But I'm excited for it, so we shall see how this goes. Okay, got my drink. Time to talk books. It is Sunday, August 25th. I want to start with The Wicked Deep. First of all, isn't this the most beautiful naked book? I love it without the dust jacket on. It's so pretty. I mean, I love the cover and the dust jacket and everything, but I didn't expect the unjacketed book to look this pretty, and I really like it. Anyways, I started this yesterday. I've gotten pretty far into it. I'm on chapter 6 now, right there. I'm really enjoying this. I'm excited to see how this goes because basically the three sisters that were drowned in the 1800s come back every summer and overtake 3 girls and then kill 3 boys by drowning them in the sea. I'm really excited to find out who are the girls that were taken by the sisters. Like, really excited about it. I also really do like the writing in this book. I knew I was gonna like the writing, but like, just having it confirmed made me really happy. And I'm excited to see where this potential romance might go. Because I'm already kind of rooting for the couple, even though like there hasn't really been anything happening with that yet. So I'm excited for this one. Next, if you watched my last reading vlog, I've been doing a reread of the Wheel of Time series on audio at night, like 30 minutes at night. And in the last reading vlog, I finished The Dragon Reborn, which is the 3rd book in that series. So last night, I decided to start The Shadow Rising. This will probably take me through the month of September, just saying, because it's like super long. It's like 41-hour audiobook, and when I looked, over 1,000 pages in the physical book. So it's gonna take a while. Also, the chapters are a lot longer than the previous 3 books. Like, the previous 3 books, the chapters are like 16 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the most. And then like the first chapter in this one is like 83 minutes. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's crazy. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. I enjoy listening to rereads as I'm falling asleep, and that's about it. Okay, next, I made some progress on The Ember Blade by Chris Wooding. Yes, I had a really productive reading day yesterday. It was Saturday and I just felt like relaxing all day, so I ended up doing a lot of actual physical reading rather than just listening to audiobooks because I do errands and stuff like that. So I managed to make it to chapter 16 in The Ember Blade. The plot has finally picked up and I'm super excited about it. This one seems like a very character-focused story and it's a slow-moving plot, but I actually love those kinds of stories, so I'm excited to see where this goes. There are a few characters that I'm really interested in, and I really like the relationship between the 2 main characters, Aaron and Cade, I think it is. Yes, and I'm excited to see where that goes because it's an interesting sort of setup that they have there. And of course, there's Gardens of the Moon. I'm on chapter 13 now, so I haven't made that much progress on it. I've been trying to go a little bit slower with this one than my typical audiobooks. It's not really working because you can only read an audiobook at a certain pace. and I listen to audiobooks constantly. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I want to see how I feel about the ending. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, still reading this one and still enjoying it. Erikson. So between yesterday and today, this morning, it's now Monday, August 26th, I was able to switch between the physical and audiobook to continue on with Gardens of the Moon. I made this like my main priority because I wanted to finish it. This is one of those books, like I really enjoyed every second of it, but at the same time, I feel like I'm missing something. Like, I feel like there's something I don't understand, but I don't know what I don't understand yet. I think with this series, I'm gonna read at least through the third book, and hopefully by then, I'll figure out what I don't understand. Because I know the second book in this series follows different characters in a different place, and I kind of know where it's gonna go, and I'm excited for where it's gonna go, because it hinted at it at the end of the book. I feel like there's something I'm missing, and I don't know what it is yet. But I did really enjoy it. I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. Even though I really, really like the characters and I really like the plot and everything like that. Like I said, I feel like there's something missing, and I like a little bit more of like the inside of my characters' heads, which is like a weird thing for me to say, because usually when I'm reading a book, I'm like, why is this character thinking so much? Just do something already. It's like the opposite in Gardens of the Moon. These characters are doing so many things, but I'm just kind of like, how do you feel about it? And that's like weird for me. Some of the characters, I felt like I got a little bit more of their emotions than others, but I wanted a little bit more of like the emotional development from these characters. So that's why I'm giving it 4.5 stars instead of 5 stars. But it is a fantastic book. It's also definitely advanced. For those of you who don't read a whole lot of high fantasy, I would not start with this one. Like, read a bunch of other high fantasy first, then come to this one, because they don't explain anything in it. But I did really enjoy it, and I'm hoping that after I've done a couple more books in this series, I'll start gaining my knowledge of this world more, and then I can come back and reread this one and understand it a little bit better. I didn't get any other reading done because I kind of put the other ones to a side while I was finishing Guardians of the Moon, so I will get to some more physical reading done today, probably tonight. I'm probably not gonna do any this morning. For my audiobook, I didn't realize that the version of The Art of War that I had was abridged, which I don't want to listen to the abridged version because there's no point in that. So I am gonna read this one physically instead of the abridged version on audio. So I'm gonna have to pick another audiobook. I think I'm gonna go with The Subtle Knife by Pullman. I just got the audiobook off of hold. I was expecting to get it like next week, but I got it a week early. I'm gonna have to return it soon because other people have it on hold. So I'm gonna start The Subtle Knife by Pullman as my audiobook. I'm gonna try and do that one a little bit slowly so I can finish my physical books first. I have a lot more time for audiobooks than physical books, so there's a good chance I might end up finishing that one this week. I told you guys I was gonna end up adding books, right? Yeah, well that's the first one. So I'm gonna start that probably today, later today, so I'll check in with you guys after I start that, and if I end up reading any more in my physical books. Okay, so it's Tuesday, August 27th, and yesterday I made quite a bit of progress on The Wicked Deep. This one's interesting because the first like 100 pages or so, I really, really enjoyed the atmosphere of this book, and I feel like in the next 100 pages, the atmosphere, like once we started to understand kind of what's going on and get a little bit more insight into the situation, I felt like the atmosphere started to drift away a little bit. So I'm right about there. So there's a good chance I could finish this probably tomorrow. Probably not today because I don't have that much time today. Maybe today, we shall see. Right now, I'm liking the book, but not as much as when I first started the book, if that makes sense. Next, I've made quite a bit of progress on The Subtle Knife. There's only an hour left in the audiobook, so I probably will be finishing that one today. I really, really like The Subtle Knife. Like, I really, really like it. I understand, like, when people talk about his dark materials, most people like The Golden Compass, like, don't like the other two books as much. I really like The Subtle Knife more than The Golden Compass. Like, a lot more. Part of it is just because one of the tropes that it uses is like the many worlds trope or multiple worlds trope, which is like one of my favorite tropes ever. And I love those types of stories. So I think that's part of it, but I don't know. I just really, really like The Subtle Knife, and I'm really excited to see the ending, and I'm really, really excited to continue on with the Ember Supply Glass, which I'll probably pick up next month. So yes, really, really enjoying that one. Can't wait to finish it. Also, I received another arc from NetGalley, The Unkindest Tide by Shauna Maguire. It is actually the 13th novel in a urban fantasy series. I didn't realize when I requested it that it was the 13th novel, and I didn't realize that it was also urban fantasy. It's coming out on September 3rd though, which is next Tuesday. I hadn't planned on picking it up because I didn't really think I was gonna get it. Like, one of the publisher requirements is that you have more than 1,000 subscribers, which I don't. So I really didn't think I was gonna get it. And so when it did get it, I was just like, oh, that's a surprise. So I'm gonna try and read that this week, and we shall see. I'll try and start it today, maybe after I finish The Subtle Knife. It's an ebook though, not an audiobook, so yeah, there's that. I really, really like Shauna Maguire, and it's been a while since I've read urban fantasy. And urban fantasy is one of those where I really don't mind reading things out of order. Like, if it was high fantasy or something like that, I would probably be angry about it, but I'd probably be more angry with myself than anything because I should have checked that before I requested it. When I looked at the cover though, it looks like a maritime high fantasy sort of book, but it's not. Anyways, it's fine. I'm excited for it. We'll see how it goes. I've been wanting to read more by Shauna Maguire, and I feel like this is like a good segue into more of her stuff, so I'm excited. Delicious. Okay, so it's Wednesday, August 28th, and yesterday I finished The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman. I really, really enjoyed it. I like the ending. I'm super, super excited for the third book in the series. So excited for it. I cannot wait. And I'm gonna end up probably reading that one at the end of the month next month, because I'm gonna try and make it part of the Tome Infinity read along because it's sci-fi, sort of. It feels more sci-fi than fantasy to me, so I'm considering it sci-fi. I'm gonna try and read it during that readathon. Hopefully I can get it from my library during that time frame, because it never seems to get to me when I think it's going to get to me, but it's okay. I'm super excited for it. And I ended up giving that one 4.5 stars. I also made a lot of progress on The Wicked Deep yesterday, and I really want to try and finish it today. So I'm right there. So I have about like 60 pages left or something like that before I am done with this book. So I'm gonna try and finish it this morning because I don't know if I'm gonna have time later. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll tell you what you guys later. The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw. I really, really like the ending. Like, really, really like the ending. I really like the beginning. Not as much as the ending, but I really like the beginning. The middle there got a little but overall, really, really enjoyed this book. I think the ending was just like really well done, like fantastically done, and I really enjoyed it. I'm giving this book 4 stars because I got really frustrated in the middle of the book, just the way the mysteries were written. It didn't jive with me very much, but overall, I feel like it was really, really good. Oh, also the way the beginning of the love story happened, I just felt like it was like too fast. Like, I really loved the intrigue of it, but then it went from like nothing to head over heels really, really fast. I just didn't feel like there was enough detail there to really believe in that love story, but overall, it ended up being fantastic. So I'm gonna give this one 4 stars because I was leaning towards like a 3.5 stars, but the ending was just so good, so good that I have to give it 4 stars. Really, really enjoyed it. So it's Thursday, August 29th. Yesterday, I had to start a new audiobook and a new physical book. For the audiobook, I decided to pick up The Rest of the Story by Sarah Dessen. So like I said earlier, I'm way done with my audiobook TBR for this month. So I'm just kind of working my way through kind of like my overflow TBR, if that's a thing, like books that I've wanted to read and I've put on hold at my library, but haven't been so invested that they make their way onto like my actual like TBR for the month. So this is one that had a lot of other people on hold, so I would have to return it soon. For some reason, every time I pick up one of Sarah Dessen's books, I get super into it like almost immediately. I don't know why. I think she just has like interesting situations. Sometimes it's not even that interesting. The way she writes it, it has enough complexity to it that it always draws me into the story. And this one's no different. It's about a girl named Emma Saylor whose father's going on his honeymoon. She has to find somewhere to stay, so she ends up staying with her mother's grandmother. And her mother, she's been estranged from for a while, and she hasn't really been with her mother's family at all. Her mother's grandmother lives on the lake where all of her mother's family lives. So she gets thrown into this huge family that she doesn't really remember at all. And it's a very different situation for her, and she suffers from anxiety. So like there's so many sort of like little things going on that I'm actually really enjoying it. I meant to make this like only listen to it when I couldn't physically read anything, but like I find myself like picking it up more and more. So I'm really enjoying that one, definitely. For the physical book, I decided to pick up The Tiger's Daughter by Kay Arsenal Rivera. So last night I wasn't feeling reading a classic, so that's why I didn't pick up The Art of War, which is what I had planned to do like around the middle of the week. But I decided to pick up The Tiger's Daughter instead, just because it was nighttime. I was tired. I only had an hour to read, and I wanted something that, you know, I can kind of get into. So my initial impression from the first like couple of pages starting out right away was, I don't like the writing style. Like that was my initial impression. It's kind of a flowery writing style, which I generally do like, but it's also really ambiguous, which kind of annoys me because it makes me pay a little bit more of attention to like the words, because I'm not exactly sure what it's trying to say all the time. So that's really annoying me. Also, there's kind of like two points of view. There's the Empress, and then there is her friend who is writing her letters. So in the Empress point of view, it's in third person, which is fine. I have no issue with that. The letters are in first/second person. So it's a letter to a person. So it's written in first person, but a lot of times it uses second person narration because it's talking to the other person, which is not, like, I don't have an issue with that. My issue more is with the way the letters are written. They just don't feel real to me, because the person who's writing the letter is writing things to a person who already knows these things. Like, they're explaining situations. They're like, oh, you did this when we first met. You did this to me. And like, I was just like, well, obviously she already knows that. Why are you telling her that? And then like, there was another section where like the person who wrote the letter was describing how they looked. Because when I write a letter to my best friend, I totally go, by the way, I have long, straight black hair and brown eyes. Obviously, it's a more detailed description than that, but like, you don't write those sort of things to people that you actually know. Like, it doesn't make any sense. The fact that it was a letter and not just like another chapter really took me out of the story, because it made me realize like, oh, I'm not reading a letter from a best friend. I'm reading a book by an author who has an agenda to give me this information, and it took me out of the story and into I'm reading a book sort of mode, which is not really where I want to be. I want to be immersed in the story so much that I forget that I have a book in my hand, if that makes sense. So off to not a great start. I'm not very far into it. I'm on page 61 now. Hopefully it improves and I end up liking it, and these things are just little pet thieves and me being annoyed last night when I was tired, hopefully. So, but we shall see. I'm gonna try and read most of this one today, because yesterday somehow I ended up getting approved for another arc. I forgot the name of the book actually. Wow. Okay. Anyways, it's being released on September 10th. So I want to try and finish these really quickly so that I can get to those arcs, because I want to do those arcs preferably before the release date. And they're kind of starting to pile up a little bit, so I'm getting a little anxious about it. I know I said I was going to do physical reading today. I said I was going to do that, but I'm in Florida right now, and with Hurricane Dorian coming up, probably making landfall on Monday, I was doing a lot of hurricane prep this morning. While I do live very, very inland, I am in the current exact trajected path of the hurricane, which is not great because I live in Orlando. As of right now, that's the current projected path. That might change by the time Monday comes around, or whenever the hurricane actually hits the state. But yeah, might as well be better safe than sorry. So I spent a good portion of this morning and probably tonight and tomorrow preparing for the hurricane. Because of that, I'm not gonna get a whole lot of physical reading done. That being said, it's a lot of stuff that I can do while listening to audiobooks. So I did end up finishing the rest of the story by Sarah Dessen, which surprisingly, the ending very related to my current situation. So yes, that was very interesting. I really enjoyed the book a lot more than I was expecting to. Like, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. But like, the ending had a lot more action than her books normally have. Like, a lot more action, but like in a good way, and I really enjoyed it. So even though it's only Thursday, I expect the rest of this vlog to be rather boring, so I'm just gonna go ahead and sign off on it now. So if you've read any of these books, let me know down in the comments. I would love to discuss it with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I post videos frequently on this channel, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.